Well, it is official. I have to admit it at this point. Radio's lost its mind. They've gone absolutely nuts. What happened is podcasting came in with no real rules and it took a lot of chances on every single level. And people were attracted to that, obviously. People started to tune in more and more and more. And then obviously the advertisers followed. It's just simple math. That's all it is. So radio stations across the board, across the United States, they started getting rid of their sales staffs, their higher paid hosts, their promotional tools, the t-shirts, the bumper stickers, all of them are gone. They just started to cut costs. They had to do it. And it's really weird because radio is still wildly popular in Europe, in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, all over the place. But for some reason, America can't figure it out. Personally, I think it's due to the crazy ass rating system they have right now. But the business side of radio has never been my expertise. But I do know what's great about it. I do know what's great about radio, or should I say, I knew what was great about radio. Don't get me wrong. I love podcasting. I really do. But there are things podcasts can't do that radio can. Radio is immediate. It's right then, man. It's live. It's local. It's informative. Did I say it's live? Seriously, that's what I love about it. I love the live nature of it. But what really attracted me to my successful career in radio was just the overall vibe it had. People had passion for their favorite radio station and their favorite on-air personalities. There were t-shirts, there were bumper stickers all over the cities, man, that showed the love everywhere you looked. It was all over the place. People just loved it. We all belonged to something, and there was no difference between the people who were listening to the radio and the people who worked at the radio stations. Radio stations really set the tone for the day for everybody. The morning shows were real high energy and funny. The midday shows just kind of kept people on that even keel vibe until the afternoon time, till it was time to go home. Then those afternoon shows would pick up that energy up until the nighttime shift. And the nighttime people just kind of lowered the vibe a little bit. Let's talk about the nighttime shows for a second. That is what attracted me to my career in radio. Sure, there weren't as many listeners at night or anything like that, but you know what? There seemed to be a lot more freedom on the nighttime show. The jokes got a little raunchier. The conversations got a little deeper. The topics got a little jab in them. That's where the real people were hanging out as far as I was concerned. The employees, they all had left the building, the studio lights were all dimmed. And in my opinion, in my eyes, in my heart, anything was possible. That's where risks were taken. And I believe a deeper bond with the audience was formed because you were kind of just getting through it every night. You were hanging out every single night doing this together. And I desperately, desperately wanted to be a late night radio host. I wanted to take those chances. I wanted to go deeper into subjects that were interesting to me. No subject was off limits, really. I mean, even the nighttime interviews were different. I mean, there weren't as many, but when you had them, they were magical. I mean, you had the guest for a longer amount of time. Their guard was down and, you never knew what they were going to say. You never knew what you were going to say. And it was weird because I hustled for years, tried to get my first full-time radio job. I mean, I was doing everything at the radio station, getting the van washed, everything. I was passed over by person after person after person every time a full-time shift opened up. I was just about getting ready to quit the whole thing. I was really discouraged, but I finally got my chance. I got to do my own late night radio show at KTYD in Santa Barbara. I worked from 10 at night to 2 in the morning. In my eyes and my opinion, I had made it. I was never so happy in my entire life. I was on my way, man. I did all the stuff that I had dreamed of too. I had all the jokes that were a little off color, a little raunchy. I covered some different subjects that nobody talked about during the day. The guests, were cool. I had some good bits and I failed a lot, which is where I learned a lot about myself. I learned about the craft and everything else. I was in heaven. It was the greatest time of my life. The pay was smaller than all the other time slots, but I couldn't care less. I was the happiest and most fulfilled I had ever been doing that 10 at night to 2 in the morning shift. Then the worst thing happened. I got popular and my show was a success. So successful that the management made a decision to move me to the afternoon slot. And then shortly thereafter, they gave me the morning drive slot. I mean, I didn't complain. I mean, I got paid more. And for a kid like me with humble beginnings, I mean, that was amazing and totally unexpected. But my career was going the way most people dream of. I wasn't complaining, so grateful. It was the American dream in my eyes. It was great. But however great it was, there was always a little thing going on in my head. There was always a little bit of a problem. Something seemed to be missing. Every single day, I missed my late night radio show. And I want that feeling again. Forget the money, forget the listenership of all the bigger desired time slots. And there's too many people weighing in on those shows and on those shifts, too many cooks in the kitchen, watching everything you say, watching everything you do. Give me my late night radio show back. I need that magic in my life again. I really do. So I decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it again. Just for fun, just to see what that vibe is about again. Modern technology is in my favor. Why not? I could stream live. I could invite people into my home studio. I could have weird guests. I could tell the nastier jokes. I could take those chances. I can fail. And I've even found a way to take live phone calls, which is an absolute must. And without the listeners' involvement in that back and forth, there's no reason to do it at all. The magic is not there. So the technology is allowing me to take some phone calls. You might have to jump through a couple hoops to come on the show, but it's going to be well worth it. Trust me. Sure. I mean, it's not going to be on the radio. It's not going to be a quote unquote late night radio show, but it's going to be on new media. It's going to have that exact same vibe, that exact same damn title. But if it's successful, if it starts to take off and people start to go, oh man, I remember those times. This is a good vibe here. I'll offer it up to radio stations across the United States because I feel like I owe radio a lot. I love radio. It's been very good to me. But I got to start small, maybe an hour or two every week. Unfortunately, I do have other obligations. I have other radio shifts to do and other things I got to do. But I'm going to need your help. I'll just be upfront about it. I need you to cheer me on. I need you to help spread the word if you like it. This is by far the most illogical idea I've ever had. People are going to go, what are you talking about, dude? Are you beating a dead horse over here? That's not what it's all about. It's not to make money, okay? It's not to be the next big viral thing at all. It's so I can experience, and some people who have never experienced in some small form or fashion, the best time of my life again in late night radio. Kind of like banging your ex or something. And yes, there's going to be t-shirts. There's going to be bumper stickers day one. I'm so excited about that. So I'm just here to tell you right now, coming soon to Spotify, to YouTube, to Twitch, to Facebook, to podcast platforms everywhere, the Late Night Radio Show.